Well, this summer, one of the world's most famous musical venues will be 75 years old. And here to help us celebrate Red Rocks Amphitheater is Dr. Tom Noel, Dr. Colorado. He's the author of Sacred Stones, Colorado's Red Rocks Park and Amphitheater. Good to see you, my friend.
Great to be here, Denise.
What can you tell me about the area that we now know as Red Rocks?
Once there was a great inland sea covering Denver in eastern Colorado, and it lapped up against the sandy shore, which is now Red Rocks.
Who designed Red Rocks?
Sandy Beach. A guy named Burnham Hoyt, probably our best known architect.
Wow, I didn't know that. And how was Red Rocks actually built?
This was done by the CCC and the WPA that went in and improved this natural amphitheater that you see here. This is Burnham Hoyt, and his genius was he didn't move the rocks around. He built the theater, squeezed it in between the rocks, and used one rock as stage rock where music bounces off of that into the audience.
And I know, nationally, artists love to perform at Red Rocks because the sound is so brilliant. It's beautiful. And what did the American Institute of Architects have to say about Red Rocks?
They, back in 1955, decided what was the best piece of architecture in each state. And they picked Red Rocks for Colorado because Burnham Hoyt worked so well with the natural environment. You see in this image, see the juniper trees?
Yes.
They seem to come down off of Mount Morrison into the arena there.
Gosh, that's just so beautiful. Do you know how long it took to make Red Rocks?
Yes, it was about 4 or 5 years projects before it finally opened in 1941.
1941. Gosh, over that span, I would imagine there's some incredible musicians that have performed there.
Right. The Beatles, the great symphony orchestras of the world, U2, the Grateful Dead.
Wow, have the Stones, the Rolling Stones, ever performed there?
I think they're one of the few that didn't.
Wow, you should come out here, Stones.
U2 did their famous concert there.
And you know what's so neat is when you go behind stage, and you know this, I'm sure, but a lot of people who have never had the chance to go backstage at Red Rocks, as the artist walks up to the steps to go on stage, the entire wall is signed by every artist that has ever performed there on those rocks.
I saw Denise Plant written there on the wall at Red Rocks.
Yeah, so I could go, do, re, mi, fa, so. That was the last time I was ever invited. What's your favorite story about Red Rocks?
Well, I think a kid I interviewed, he was 12 years old and he went to the Beatles concert back in 1964 with his sister who was 14, and 4 of her friends were going to go. She had tickets for all of them. One of them couldn't show, so he went instead. And if you know, a 14-year-old girl is that tall, and a 12-year-old boy is about that tall. So he said the minute the Beatles appeared, his sister and her friend stood up, started screaming that he never saw the band and he never heard them, although he was there.
Oh my gosh, look at that. What a great pick. That's awesome. You wrote a fabulous book. It's called Colorado's Red Rocks Park and Amphitheater. What are we going to find inside?
Well, that was fun to look at. There are dinosaurs that tromped around there, so you have the dinosaur footprints there. You also have the first Ute Indians would do their bear dance there, so we think that the Utes were the very first band to play Red Rocks.
That's funny. I never knew that. I never knew that they went through there. Interesting. You have an upcoming talk. What are you going to focus on?
We're going to focus on neoclassical landmarks like this, which is actually inspired by the great amphitheaters of Sicily. George Cranmer, the manager of Parks and Rec, saw that, and Burnham Hoyt decided we too could have a great outdoor amphitheater, just as the ancient Greeks did.
You're kidding. So it was inspired from Sicily, and they brought it over here to Colorado in 1941?
Right.
Wow, that's amazing. What's your favorite part about Red Rocks?
Oh, I think the park itself, just that you have a huge natural park there to go spend any time on. And the fact that this is always open, you can go down there and practice on the stage, listen to those incredible acoustics anytime.
You can.
A free attraction.
And you can run up and down the stairs too, which is a great workout.
Or walk up and down.
Or walk, yeah, me too. I've seen some amazing acts over the years. Mariah Carey just sounded amazing at Red Rocks. It was beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Colorado.
Again, Dr. Colorado will be discussing the roots of Red Rocks and other Denver landmarks on Thursday, June 9th at 6 p.m. at the Fifth Church of Christ Scientist. 1477 Columbine Street is the address. Now, this talk is co-sponsored by Historic Denver and the Institute of Classical Architecture. For reservations or for more information, you can go to this website. It's classicist-rmc.org.